what I want to talk about today. I want to be an outlier today. I don't want to be sector specific. I just want to talk in a philosophical sense and frame some philosophical challenge for all of us as a nation. But before I start, I want to tell you 4 quick stories. Those stories resonate with you as I speak later. The first story, a particular lawmaker felt that the hospital in his local government did not have any scanner. In fact, hospitals in 3 local government areas, actually there was no scanner. So he contributed to refurbish the hospital and then purchase a scanner for them to give to customers for free, to use for free. About 6 weeks later, someone called his office that the scanner had broken down. So the lawmaker called the supplier and said, I thought this was a new machine. He said, yes. So they went to check, they fixed it. It started working again. 3 months later, it was called again that the machine had broken down again. So this time around, he sent a team to investigate. And they came back to him that the machine was being deliberately sabotaged by the staff of the hospital because they had local private scanning centers that they were sending patients to. And they were being given a particular amount for every patient they send. So since that scanner for free was installed, they lost money. So they kept sabotaging the free scanner and then during that period, direct people back to those private centers. That's the first story. I will join it up later. Just bear that in mind. Second story. The government felt that we need some infrastructure in the country. So there is a rail, there is a third Niger bridge that was built. And for those of you who are not aware, within 3 months of the third Niger bridge being opened, the metal railings started going missing. So people went there to sabotage it. Bear that story in mind. Story number 2. Third story. While I was working with the National Assembly, there was a particular lawmaker I met. I'm being deliberately vague here because it's still in the National Assembly. We were talking one day and he said, he said, Doctor, I said, yeah. He said, do you notice that many of the longest serving lawmakers in the National Assembly are from the North? I said, I have not done the research. He said, yes, most of them are from the North. I said, why is that? He said, you see, the problem with you Southerners is, he said, there are too many educated and qualified people in your constituency. So after you've done one term, 10 people are already queuing up to tell you, get out of the way, it's my turn. He said, but in my own area, I'm the only graduate and I love it that way. So imagine giving that lawmaker the job of reviving education in his community. Now, I've said these 4 stories to exemplify the problem called Nigeria. For every problem we face as a nation, there are 2 solutions, 2 activities that work together. And I need you to write those 2 words down. One is what I call the technical solution. Second is what I call the adaptive solution. So the title of my exposition this morning is The Adaptive Challenge to Unlocking National Potential. The adaptive challenge to unlocking national potential. You see, technical changes or challenges are things that tend in the construct of a nation that mainly government is responsible for. So the hospital needs a scanner. What is the technical solution? I can't hear you. Good. The country doesn't have rail infrastructure. What's the technical solution? Country is lacking in bridges that link cities together. What's the technical solution? Now, you can see here, those are technical solutions. And a lot of the submissions over the years on this platform have provided a lot of such technical solutions. But for a nation like Nigeria, there is a bigger problem. And that is what I call the adaptive challenge. And that's what I want to focus on today. If by any chance I can't finish my notes, I will put it up on my Twitter handle at Dr. C. Omole for you to download free, because I don't see how I can finish it looking at the time. But let's proceed. Adaptive challenge. Adaptive challenge deals with how we mentally interact with a technical solution that has been provided. And today I'm going to be talking about the 10 toxic mindsets that I've seen in Nigeria that means that no technical solution will work until those mindsets are changed. In fact, one of the stories I didn't tell you, right? I did say 4 stories, right? How many did I tell you? Aha, you see, you are not paying attention. The 4th story, because I was about saying something that I was going to link to the 4th story. The 4th story was, there's a country in Africa called Kenya. So they changed their constitution many years ago, and because of massive corruption, they decided to change the electoral system so that everything, including transmission, is electronic. And the idea was that with electronic transmission, there will be no more electoral malpractices. Guess what? The second term presidential election of Uhuru Kenyatta was nullified by their Supreme Court for malpractices. And if you read through the legal documents, one of the things that stood out for me was that the chairman of their IEBC, that's the equivalent of INEC, his login was used over 100 times across the country in different cities to log into the computer system. So, you created a technical solution called electronic transmission, but the adaptive change has not occurred. So the same people who are bent on rigging election are in charge of the electronic system. So what is happening is we are providing a lot of technical solutions in Nigeria, but until our mindset as a people change, no technical solution will work.